In a moment, the United Nations issues a renewed warning of impending famine in Yemen. But first, the International Maritime Organization has passed a series of restrictions on ships which use and transport polluting heavy fuel oils, which it says will help protect the lands, communities and wildlife of the Arctic. But the new rules, which include a series of waivers and exemptions for ships from Arctic coastal states, have been condemned by environmentalists as a massive missed opportunity. They propose much tougher rules which were not backed by IMO members. I've been speaking to Dr. Sian Prior of the Clean Arctic Alliance about her objections.
Well, we're very disappointed that it has approved the ban on heavy fuel oil as currently written. We were hoping that it would be strengthened. It's very weak. It has two major loopholes in it at the moment, which means that although a ban will effectively come into place in 2024, in the middle of 2024, it won't really take effect until 2029. So we're looking at the best part of a decade of continued pollution of the Arctic by heavy fuel oil.
And I notice that there are exemptions for ships from Arctic coastal states.
Exactly. There's two types of exemptions. There's one for ships that have protected fuel tanks, and then there's one for the ships that are flagged by the Arctic coastal states. That one doesn't have to be applied, but it gives the opportunity to 5 Arctic coastal states, the United States, Canada, Denmark, Norway, and Russia, to apply exemptions to their own flagships in their own waters.
Why did the IMO end up with a series of restrictions which, in your view, constitute a massive missed opportunity?
We're not entirely clear why they've not been prepared to really step it up and bring a ban into place sooner, because there are alternative fuels available now. There's no need to wait any period of time for other fuels to become available. So we can only assume it's because of the cost. Heavy fuel oil is very cheap, unfortunately, because it's very heavy, it's very dirty, it pollutes very heavily, especially when spilled, but also when it's burnt, it produces a lot of particulate matter, including black carbon, which is very polluting. And so as a result, it's very cheap. And so I think it must come down to cost, because there are alternatives available. There are alternatives already being used by quite a large number of ships in the Arctic. But around half of the ships in the Arctic need to switch over to these lighter fuels. But there's nothing stopping them from doing so in the next year or two. So it must come down to cost.
But perhaps lobbying by Arctic coastal states as well?
I suspect lobbying by some of the coastal states, in particular Russia, whose vessels carry the vast majority of the heavy fuel oil. Certainly amongst the Arctic states, it is Russian-flagged vessels that are carrying most of the heavy fuel oil. There are flags coming in from other parts of the world as well that are responsible for some of the heavy fuel oil, or quite a large quantity of heavy fuel oil too. But we suspect it's lobbying of the countries by the shipping industry to try and keep their costs as low as possible.
And I was speaking there to Dr. Sian Prior of the Clean Arctic Alliance.